Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Legacy Sports Lounge. I'm your host, Coach Page, and today we have a great show. The high school football season is upon us, and we have three great coaches from our area that are joining us in route to the start of the season. For starters, we have Coach Darryl Page out of Wilson. Coach Page, how are you?
I'm good. How about yourself, Coach?
Man, I'm excited, man. I can't complain. And then following us will be Coach Brian Smith out of Kingstree High School, and eventually Coach Shaun Wright out of Cross High School. Coach Page,
Good
we'll
evening,
we'll we'll
guys.
get Coach Smith. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are y'all? I'm glad to be a part of the show, especially with Coach Page up there, the legend, and we definitely appreciate y'all having us on the show.
We're excited to have you on. So let me get started by saying that congratulations to Coach Darryl Page on being selected with the South Carolina Football Coaches Association Hall of Fame. Coach Page, is the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Coach. Coach Smith is glad to join this podcast. And whatever we want to talk about football wise or anything else, I'm readily available. Answer any question that I could possibly answer, and kind of give a little insight into what's going on over here at Wilson High School. Well,
Exactly. Coach Smith, tell us how you began your process here in the state of South Carolina.
Sure. I actually played football at the Citadel, and I was actually coaching high school football back at my high school, which is Lynn Classical High School in Lynn, Massachusetts. And a guy I played with, who's now happens to be the head coach at the Citadel, Maurice Drayton, called me up and talking college ball. So when he got on staff first at the Citadel, and he called me up out of the blue one day and said, "You think you want to come down here and coach at the Citadel?" And sure, I did. So that started my career back in South Carolina because I had left to go back to Massachusetts after I graduated from the Citadel. And from there, spent 3 years coaching at the Citadel, and then got a call to go up to start a program at SUNY Maritime in the Bronx, and helped start that program with a guy, Clayton Kendrick Holmes, who's now the director of personnel at West Point Academy. And then I was up there for almost a year, and come down here and coach high school ball. And I wanted to come back to South Carolina. I had obviously was living in the Bronx, not making a whole lot of money as a Division III startup program. And I said, you know what? Let me give this high school thing another try. And came down here, went to Manning High School, and Robbie Briggs, Citadel grad, hired me there. And then when he left, I took the head job at C. Murray High School and stayed there a while, and then ventured up to Blythewood and Scotts Branch and made my way back around to C. Murray, and then ended up where I am now, which is Kingstree. So, it's been a great run. I've enjoyed every bit of it, and looking forward to this season, and looking forward to just trying to help our young men get better and better each day.
I was listening to Coach Smith. It's funny. Your principal, Mr. Frazier, was on my staff my first go around at Wilson when he first started coaching as well.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So he definitely holds you in high regard, as well as one of my best friends played for you. And I actually coached him as well that first year as a GM at Citadel, Julian West.
Yes.
Each Coach Page fan.
And I'll tell you what, he made me a better coach, no doubt about it. Athletic guy, highly intelligent, definitely self motivated. One of the best people I've ever had the opportunity to coach. And he's living down in the down in the islands, living
Virgin.
life now. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Coach Page, what can we expect from Wilson this year? I know you were talking about some of your guys, but what can we expect from your squad this year?
Well, inheriting a squad so late has been this has been another chapter in a long career. I never expected to be the head coach at Wilson again. I actually was content there to go there and retire as a teacher. Going in as a teacher coach, this is my 39th year. I was telling my wife I was trying to get to 40 years, and I'd already stepped back as far as being the offensive coordinator at West Florence High School. I was content to finish out the year and then go into year 40 as a teacher at Wilson and retire. And I guess when I got there and I got the call, we considered it what was best for us. Going in, didn't have a staff. Like I said, knew very little about Wilson other than when I scouted them at West Florence, and knew they were going to always be athletic, and they are. Our kids are very athletic, and we've had a chance to get a modified spring practice in, and the summer's been real good, been real productive, and cautiously optimistic is the best way to put it. I guess everybody is at this time of year, but going into practice this week, all of us are looking to see them in pads. Playing football in shorts and t-shirts is a whole lot different than once those pads go on. So we're excited about what I think we can be. And with our sophomore and junior classes being a majority of our starters, over the next 12 months, Wilson High School football hopefully will head up and be in a positive light here within the next 12 months.
Now, I hear what you're saying. 3-8 last year. You're 39 years in the game. Are you trying to flip that 3-8 to 8-3, 9-3, or what are your expectations? Because I know we talked about three of your main guys, Eagleton, Davis, and Engwell. But what are your expectations in terms of maybe playoffs? I know you don't want to put that out there just yet, but what are your expectations? Because obviously 3-8 is not what Wilson is accustomed to.
Right now, being in position to win a football game. Every coach will tell you, and it'll sound like it's a cliche, everybody wants to go 1-0 each week. And that is just that simple. We want to put ourselves where we are competitive every week and give ourselves a chance and don't beat ourselves. That's any coach will tell you the same thing. But right now, it's a big question mark. We've got a scrimmage coming up this week. I'm real excited about it. That'll be a first time striking pads against somebody else. So since I've been there, and hopefully we'll kind of won't be real nervous. Just go out and play football, and that's what you have to remind them in scrimmages. Scrimmages don't count. They don't count until August the 23rd.
Right. Coach Wright, thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. Good to see you guys. Coach Page, Coach Smith, man, how y'all guys doing?
I'm good, Coach. How about yourself?
Man, we relaxing on a Sunday, man. Every chance I get a chance to kind of put my feet up, I do it, man.
Tell me about it.
I remember I used to be a rookie in this thing, following you around, and now I've been in this thing a little while, so I learn how to put my feet up when I can.
Better.
Coach Wright, what can we expect out of Cross this year? I mean, hell, last year you guys were 11-2. That's a really good season. So what can, and I believe you're ranked number 2 in the state.
We ranked.
Hey, that's why they do that. So we could talk about it. But what can we expect out of you guys for the 2024 campaign?
At Cross, we've kind of developed a program in which I think we have been competitive, throughout the years, and that's because of the people that I have around me. I've been very, very blessed to always have good administration in that building, and they understand what football means to the community at Cross. And we're not at this point now to be afraid to say that the expectation is for us to be successful on the field. That's just what the program says. They don't care. We're gonna be young. I got a lot of excuses I can make. We're gonna be young on the offensive line. We're starting a new quarterback. But nobody cares about that. What they say, they don't care about the labor pains, deliver the baby.
Right.
So, we're going to try to do what Coach Page said and just try to give our best effort every week. Um, I've been in this game long enough to understand, like, I know what it looks like when my kids have to strain to be full speed, to give good effort. And what I always tell my kids is, y'all don't ever worry about the clock and don't worry about the score. Let us do that. So if they can take care of in between the plays when that whistle blows to the next whistle, if they can do that, I can live with a win or a loss. To be honest with you. So the expectation is for my kids to play extremely hard, like we've been accustomed to. I can't tell you what the record gonna be because that's kind of disrespectful to the season because we don't know. I've been on a team that didn't win a game. I didn't think I would ever be on a head coach that would be a part of a team that didn't win a game, and that I experienced that in 2018. So things happen fast, especially on the 1A level.
Can we go back a little bit to last year to 2023? Because I mean, it would be remiss if we didn't talk about that year. 11-2. I'm looking at some of these scores. You guys beat St. John's 56-0. You beat Hemingway 46-8. Allendale Fairfax, you beat them too. I mean, 11-2. Obviously, the record speaks for itself. How difficult was that loss at the end to Bamberg 41-6?
That was extremely difficult. Prior to that Allendale game, I have a kid, a real talented receiver. He decided to throw his helmet on the sideline and show out. So I suspended him for the Bamberg game. And not only that, my starting center went out the first series of the Allendale game before that. So, and then in the Bamberg game, I didn't have my two, real important pieces right there from an injury and from a suspension. But my starting free safety and my starting receiver got knocked out of the game, and it was just Bamberg just being very, very, very physical. And so we were just from the first second series on, we were just it was an uphill battle for us. So that left a sour taste in our mouths. Um and so we kind of hung our hat, and I've kind of been agitating them, about Bamberg because obviously, in our classification in the lower state, to get to the big dance, you got to see a Bamberg, you got to see a Lakeview, you got to see a Johnsonville, you got to see those teams to get to the big dance.
How cognizant are you, talking to your team, making sure that they don't focus on the 11-2 and put that kind of in the rear view mirror and focusing on what you got, because obviously the rankings don't mean much right now, but they mean stuff to people like myself who are not in the program. So them not hear all that noise and just kind of focus on 0-0 for the beginning of the year.
Yeah, well, we don't allow them to think about last year. This is a whole new different team. To me, every team are as good as their senior class. Most of the time, that's where your leadership comes from is that senior group. Well, I lost every starter on the offensive line, which were seniors last year, and in addition to I think it was three more guys. So I think we had about eight or nine seniors last year. All of them played all started. Some of them started on offense and defense. So once those guys are gone, now I got a new group of seniors, and so this is an entirely new team. We're having to develop some leadership skills that I had last year. This year, we don't have quite as much. And you just never know from one year to the next. How that senior class is going to respond to adversity. To kind of piggyback on what Coach Page said, we've been in I call football in pajamas. Um,
7-on-7.
Yeah, 7-on-7 and stuff like that. And so, I want to see how we're going to respond to another team and going through some adversity. And you would hope that takes place in a scrimmage and not the first game. And so, I'm hoping with this weather, man, we able to still scrimmage on Friday. But I don't know, because it looks like the storm is supposed to be dumping a lot of rain on the entire state. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that's going to show us. So right now, I'm optimistic. We got really, really good athletes, probably some of the best athletes I've had since I've been at Cross, but the athletes don't win the game. It's them guys up front.
Coach, thanks for that, Coach Wright. Coach Smith, what can we expect from your offense this year, especially at the quarterback position?
We're going to have either a freshman or a sophomore. They're both doing that job, so these next couple scrimmages will be highly kind of see like anything. Them the sophomore played a tiny bit last year, and the freshman obviously middle. That's a big battle won by one of those protects the ball. A lot of people were senior late in offense. So we're going to lean on those guys to kind of protect sophomore quarterback. Go line. We're just trying to develop our skill guys more so get them ready for that. And hopefully we battle tested. Hopefully it doesn't get weathered out, because we definitely need the scrimmages we got lined up. We're supposed to go to Lugoff Elgin on Thursday and face them and Andrew Jackson. And as I see you scrolling across the screen, it's reminded me of Andrew Jackson beating us in the second round of the playoffs last year, which left a real sour taste in our mouths in that one, because it was a 14-14 game midway through the third quarter, and then we just imploded. And a lot of that had to do with what Coach Wright was talking about, leadership and overcoming adversity.
With younger athletes at your skill positions, and quarterback in particular, how do you kind of groom them? Obviously you want to win and you want to open up the whole playbook, but how do you kind of groom them for success, down the line? Because obviously you got seniors on that team. They want to win yesterday. So how do you kind of mold those two together?
Right. Main thing is letting you and younger guys in positions where they can see, because the big thing is confidence. If they win at the beginning, then you usually kind of roll through the season. And so for us, we open up with Carver's Bay to start the season. That's going to tell Lasers this year. If we can look out for.
Oh, great! Thank you, Coach Smith. Coach Page, what can we look forward to from you guys in terms of on the offensive side of the ball this year?
Well, I think our offense is tailored to what we have available talent-wise. A lot of the run concepts that we were able to develop when I was at West Florence, we'll have implemented here at Wilson, and we're going to also the ball's going to go in the air. So we're trying to get our athletes the ball in space, whether it's handing them the ball or throwing them the ball, any way we can get them the football, and let athletes be athletes. Sometimes we as coaches can kind of overcomplicate this thing and want to prove to people how smart we are. I'm smart enough to get the ball to the kid that can make a difference. um, Defensively, I think we are athletic. We can run. It's probably one of the fastest defenses I've ever had, regardless of where I was coaching. These kids can really run. They're aggressive and getting them to play within the scheme and trusting their teammates. That's crucial for us. Um, Instead of thinking I as an individual, you need to think we as a unit. And we'll go as far as our defense will carry us. As coaches, both coaches mentioned, you're talking about the offensive lines. The game is won on the offensive defensive line of scrimmage. People can tell you anything they want about skill guys. You have a great quarterback, you have running back. None of it works unless you're doing something productive in on the line of scrimmage. And we'll start offensively. We'll start four underclassmen on the line of scrimmage, on the offensive line of scrimmage. We'll have we're actually starting a sophomore and a junior on the defensive line, and we got some great kids athletically, especially on these linebacker and the secondary levels that are underclassmen that'll play a lot. And the thing I think about us more so than anything else with our senior class is kind of going to back to what Coach Smith and Coach Wright were saying about senior classes. You're talking about a senior class at Wilson High School that has had three head coaches in 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah, in 1 year, in one calendar year. This time last year it was Coach Mooney. It had Coach Fairby early in the winter, and now me. So there are three different guys
Wow.
who do it three different ways. So right now, establishing a trust level among the
Mm-hmm.
kids, that is crucial for us. I never tell them anything that I can't deliver on, and we're demanding some things that all of a sudden to some of these kids, this is new. This is new,
Mm-hmm.
and they're having to adjust to that. And I'm at a point now where you adjust, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too. We're gonna go on. We're gonna play. So
Right.
that has been a lot for us. So, like I said, I'm excited for Thursday. But as both coaches mentioned, with this weather going on, I'm monitoring that from day to day. Actually, thinking really, we got practice tomorrow, and we also got volleyball practice, and I'm sure the other coaches do as well. We don't have a second gym at Wilson High School, and volleyball
Mm.
takes precedence right now. So now I got to figure out if it does rain and practice does get rained out, where are we going to practice? We have weightlifting during the school day, and we're fortunate in that. And that's one of the things about Florence School District 1. They have provided each high school weightlifting classes. And one of the things I got used to at West Florence, and it's a great advantage for Jody, they have football. We practiced in the morning. And even if we had to
Mm.
go in the gym, nobody was there at 7 o'clock in the morning. And so you're talking about legitimately being out of practice as far as varsity football is concerned at 9 o'clock.
Mm.
And it made a great, if we could do it now at Wilson, I would do it. I would do it at 6 o'clock. So the kids are done by the time before 8:30 bell rings, we're done with practice.
That's what we
Well, I
do.
mean, that's a good point to make. I mean, that's life. You have to be fluid and you have to be able to change. And it seems like you are putting those kind of life skills into your players and your team. As we started talking about your record last year, 3-8, or the record there at Wilson last year, and you were non-committal on this year. But I know that you have some talent on that team. You've got the Leon Eggleton, the BJ Davis, and Tamonte Emmanuel. You've got some college players on that team. Um, how excited are you about those three in particular and being able to see them be able to reach their potential, the potential that you already know that they have in them, and be able to maximize their potential along with the other guys that you got there?
Just those three among others. But my spring was definitely probably a lot different than that of Coach Wright or Coach Smith. It was like, all right, I'm getting to know these kids, and watching them as a football coach. I'm evaluating what I see. And those three, among others, really stood out. Emmanuel was our tailback. He was on the track team, and I would see them practicing because I think they were getting ready for either they were getting ready for the state finals, and we had about 4 or 5 kids that were on those track teams that were still participating in the state track meet. And that meant no football for them. And after they finished their track workouts, they come on the field, watch, and that kind of thing. But you're not seeing it. And the first time I saw Emmanuel touch that ball, we were going through install, and just the explosion. This kid could change directions real quick. Got from 0 to 60 real fast. BJ, you can see the natural aggressiveness he could get to the football, and having an H back was something that Wilson hadn't had these past years as much. But now he's a crucial part of what we do because he's involved in the run game and involved in the pass game, and we like to move people around. We might start off in one formation, but by the time the ball snap, somebody's moving almost every play. And so having a kid like that who allows us to get into different things without having to change personnel helps us a whole lot. And these kids, the three I mentioned, among others, will play on both sides of the ball. Everybody thinks, all right, well, you're playing 4A ball. And I don't know what it is. Sometimes coaches, especially when they start getting into these A's, it's still football. Get the kids, get your best kids on the field. I'm smart enough to do that. I might not be smart in a whole lot of things, but I'm smart enough to get the best kids on the field and get them in shape where if they have to play both ways, they play both ways.
That's a good point. Coach Smith, talk to us about, is it Malik Dukes and Xavier Dukes?
Okay. I think you meant Tyleek's the older brother. Malik, it was a freshman last year, very good player.
Right.
Yeah, Malik led us in sacks last year. Freshman.
Malik is a rising sophomore, and he led as you just said, he led the team in sacks last year as a freshman, correct?
Correct. Mm-hmm. Yep. So he has a high upside guy, great body on him. He'll play outside linebacker again for us. And we're excited to see what he's going to do this year with another year under his belt, a year in the weight room, and he plays a little bit of offense for us, not much, but he's hell on wheels coming off the edge. Xavier Dukes is our returning receiver, and will also this year flip to the other side and start at safety for us. And he's really fast, really good wide receiver for us, so he'll be one of our big play guys for sure. And we look for big things from him in that regard. We kind of switched up our offense a lot this year. We're going more triple option than we have in the past. So it's meant to get those guys the ball in space more, like Coach Page was talking about. And we'll look a lot like Coach Wright's former teams from about 6-7 years ago. So we're triple option all the way now. We're loving it. And that'll help us get the ball to those guys' hands a lot more frequently than depending on a quarterback just to throw it to them. So we're excited about that. And then, like I said, Tyleek Dukes is the older brother of Malik. Mm-hmm. He led us in tackles last year, second in receiving yards. He'll be back for us this year. So we're excited about him as well. He has a great future ahead of him.
Thank you so much, Coach. So, Coach Wright, are there who on your team would you like to highlight in terms of players that we should be keeping an eye out for during the 2024 campaign?
We have a really, really good receiver, Caden Ramsey. He's a kid that got some early offers. He has a chance to have even more of a breakout year this year. Although, he came on the scene last year, and then I'm sure everybody's now going to really, really pay attention to him. But he's a guy 6'4", 200 pounds. I got another running back. I got two running backs that I think are pretty good. Carmelo Jones and Makai Green. Both of them are track guys. Both of them, I feel as though if they get behind the defense, it'll be hard to catch them. Those three. And then I got two guys up front, Mike Bennett and Jalen Broughton. And David Wigfall. Those three guys right there, if they do what they're supposed to do and can do, and I think that they can do, they'll help us tremendously. So those are the guys that kind of, gives us an opportunity to be really, really successful and explosive. I got a couple of other guys too, but those are the main ones.
Great. I got one last question. I'm gonna get you guys out of here. I mean, this is kind of a football question, and I'll start it off with Coach Page. Like, it's easy to get, especially for 15-year-olds through 18-year-olds. It's easy for kids to be excited about playing football during this time of the year, because there's a lot of excitement. Coach Page, how difficult is it for them to maintain that excitement as the year goes on? You usually start having injuries, maybe losses, frustration. How difficult is it to maintain that excitement throughout the remainder of the year?
If you got to maintain it for a kid that's going to get down after a loss or whatever, you got to work on your mental from your neck up. And each of us in here are competitors. We want to win. There's no question about it. We want our kids to be successful. But part of learning to be a winner is not accepting losing and being willing to go through the process, because kids, a lot of times you see kids these days pick up something for 10 minutes, put it back down. 10 minutes, put it back down. Whatever's the latest fad. But those kids that when it bothers them to lose or bothers them not to be successful, those are the kids you want in your foxhole with you. And they help develop other kids in that same mindset. You look at Coach Wright, those kids that come out of that program, a lot of those kids have known nothing but success. And you look at a kid that's coming out of our program, has not known success, even if he's been there 3 years, whatever. And now you got a new coach, new attitude, but you bring in a coach with history, all right, history at that same school. And so kids, just like everybody else, everybody does their research. All you got to do is pick up a phone these days, and you got all the research you need. And so they, right now, I know it with us, it's cautiously optimistic. But one of the things I throw at them and remind them, out of the 3 high schools that are in Florence, each of us got new stadiums. I think we got them all at the same time. We are the only school in Florence that has not hosted a playoff game. At West, we've hosted when I was at West, we hosted playoff games. South Florence has had the home field advantage the last 2 years. No, definitely last year in the playoffs. The year before, they had to go up to AC Flora in the lower state championship. So they've hosted games. Wilson's not hosting a game, and that's one of our goals. Hopefully this season, and definitely in the years ahead, to have somebody have to come down 1411 Old Marion Highway, and that's when you can kind of see where your kids are turning the corner and trying to be successful. And that's what we're hoping to get them to, that next level where the expectations are met and exceeded by those kids. That means they're not going to accept losing and do whatever it takes for our team to be successful.
Sounds good. How about you, Coach Smith? How do you maintain that competitive fire as the season goes from August to September to October and hopefully to November?
Right. Well, it goes back to what you did all year. If your kids are invested all year, you really don't have to get them motivated week to week. Their motivation started back in January, and they should carry that through. It all depends on how much hard work they've put in. And we've been blessed this year where our guys have been hitting it hard since January. They've been in the weight room every day. We haven't had any issues with that. We have practice at 6:15 a.m. in the morning, and we were actually taking bets as coaches of who wouldn't show up. We had everybody there, so that says a lot that kids these days, this day and age, will get up at 6:15 a.m. and everybody make it to practice. And we started at 6:15 a.m. That was huge. That told me this team's ready for business. They're ready to kind of turn the culture. And like Coach Page said, it's important to get a home playoff game. I don't care what anybody says. You don't want to be traveling on the road in the playoffs. It's a whole different ball game on the road. So our upperclassmen understand that now, I think. And like I said, these next 2 weeks are highly crucial for us in keeping that momentum going. And I expect, like I said, big things from them. But so far, like I said, they've showed me they are motivated. They're ready to go. They're excited. And a lot of that, goes back to your leadership preseason wise. During the season, it's hard to get guys. If you're begging them to get motivated from game to game after a loss, you already lost that team, in my opinion, before the season even started.
Right. Coach Wright, I'm not going to talk about, do you guys look at Abbeville as you plan, but how difficult, or is it difficult at all to keep your guys motivated throughout the season with so many distractions?
Well, I really like Coach Page and Coach Smith answers to that question. And I will piggyback on what we do. We like Coach Smith was saying how, the expectations is to win. Well, I tell our players all the time, put yourself in position to where you actually deserve to win the game. If we put a number on how many workouts that our varsity players have to come over the summer. And, I think it's like 26 days or 27 days that they can make it. That they have a chance to lift weights over the summer. Well, we asked those guys to come 22. And if they come 22 and there are 22 productive days, then you put yourself to where you'd actually deserve to have success based off of the work that you put in. So right there, we try to sell our kids on the off season. I actually like the off season just as much as I do the season, if not more, because that really that tells me what type of team I'm gonna have. I can almost kind of figure out just what we're going to have come August by January, February, March. Those 3 months are critical to a football program. And we try to really, really hone in on those months right there. And I got to go back to my administration. I've always had the luxury, being even at Cross, of having those kids available to me. I can't get them all in fourth block, but throughout the day, lifting weights, and now so much more focusing on nutrition. And as far as motivating and keeping them up, we've been fortunate to win a lot of games. Now we've lost a couple here and there, but we don't give those kids. I played college football, and when I try to hire coaches, I try to hire the ones, even if you're a young coach, rookie coach, if you play college football, I want you on my staff, because we try to make things just like how it would be if they were in college. These kids literally don't have time to really hang their heads after a loss, because we try to flush the game after a win or a loss the next day. We give them one day, and then Sunday, they got notes on their huddle. They got notes of the team coming up, and they got to know those. They got to have those notes done by Monday. So by Monday, when we have our team meeting prior to practice, we're asking them questions that we put on the huddle, on the notes. So they have to answer those questions. So they don't have time to dwell after a loss because they got homework on Sunday that they got to do. And not only that, when they get them playbooks, and Monday is such a day. We don't let them talk on Monday. Monday is all coaches. We do all the talking because we have to give out the information that they need. Now on Tuesday and Wednesday, we shut up. The coaches shut up. I want them talking. And then on Thursday, we all kind of get together. So we try to do it like how the colleges do it, because a lot of these kids ain't going to college. So I try to give them that college atmosphere, that college experience. And thank God I've been able to have a lot of, 3 or 4 coaches on my staff since I've been at Cross that played college ball. And so, that in itself, allows those kids to understand that you got to take each game one game at a time, one game at a season, and then go from there.
Well, we're gonna get out of here. I definitely want to thank you three gentlemen for sharing your stories and sharing a preview of your upcoming seasons. I know that a lot of platforms they root for everybody, but we root for everybody here at Lost Letterman too. But some people we root for a little bit more. That being said, Wilson, Kingstree, and Cross, we will be rooting for in 2024, and more importantly, we're going to be rooting for you guys and your kids to be successful way beyond the football fields, as I'm sure they are, as anybody could tell. You guys are not only preparing you're preparing good football players, but you're preparing good members of society going forward. So that's the most important thing. So definitely thank you so much for your time, and thank you for sharing your stories and your previews of your 3 teams going forward in 2024.
Thank you for
you.
having us, man.
Yeah.